convening of the Cleveland Heights University Heights City School District Board of Education meetings. Mr. Gainer?
Mr. Cole. Here. Ms. Jones.
Here.
Ms. Pepler.
Here.
Mr. Register.
Here.
Mr. Zucker.
Here.
To begin our meeting, we are going to have our organizational meeting being at the beginning of the new year, 2013. I will now request nominations for board president.
I nominate Ronald Register.
I'll go to you. Any others?
No, you don't need to second.
Okay, Mr. Gainer?
So we'll ask each board member to state their choice. Mr. Coble.
Ron Register.
Ms. Jones.
Ron Register.
Ms. Pepler.
Ron Register.
Mr. Register.
Ron Register.
Mr. Zucker.
Ron Register.
Mr. Register?
It sounded like a drum.
Thank you. Do we switch now? Okay. Bear with us, audience, while we get
funny.
places.
Go over the place.
I know.
Can we switch chairs too?
Yeah, Karen likes that shit.
Yeah,
It's higher. I don't know how to.
President.
Here, this is high.
Oh, that was higher. Okay, thank you.
Well, I think you can adjust.
I know, but I don't know how, so I
Angie, would you
just,
switch chairs with me?
Mr. Gainer knows the drill.
Exactly.
Thank
Let's
you,
make
Mr.
sure Karen
Gainer.
does that.
Appreciate it.
Just take my
Well,
chair. I want to say thank you, fellow board members, for having confidence in me. I know that we have had some conversations, and we think this is going to be a fairly challenging year for us, and I'm happy to know that you have confidence in me. And I will probably put all my energy into making sure that this is one of the best years we've had. But I won't have long speeches. So let's get down to the business that we're here for. Okay, the next item on the agenda is actually the election of board vice president. So I want to open the nominations for board vice president. Cal?
I nominate Nancy Pepler.
Okay. Are there any other nominations? Mr. Gainer, would you call the roll?
Ms. Jones.
Yes. I mean Nancy Pepler.
Ms. Pepler.
Nancy Pepler.
Mr. Register.
Nancy Pepler?
Mr. Zucker.
Nancy Pepler.
Mr. Coble.
Nancy Pepler.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Good team, Ron.
We don't switch chairs? I know. That's right. Okay, I think the next item is appointment of treasurer pro tem. And I would like at this point to appoint Eric Coble. Eric?
I accept.
Okay, great. So we're good. We need to take a vote? Okay.
It's true.
Ms.
call the roll.
Pepler.
This could get heated.
Did you call me first? I
Yes,
didn't
I'm
hear
sorry,
you.
Ms.
Okay, Eric Coble.
Mr. Register.
Eric Coble.
Mr. Zucker.
Eric Coble.
Mr. Coble.
Eric Coble.
Ms. Jones.
Eric Coble.
Okay. Eric, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. Been looking
You
forward
can
to
be
this.
Scott Gainer when he's not here.
Here we go.
I'm going to be Scott Gainer when he just doesn't know it.
Everything else should be together.
That's consent. Okay, we have basic board organizational business, and I want to do all these at one time unless there's any objections. But they are dates of the regular board meeting, board members' remuneration, which is in line with state law, motor vehicle and general liability insurance, which we have to have each year, the investment of funds, which are basically funds that might be held by what we would call, petty cashiers or something like that, where they might have a couple of dollars to make change for various items for lunchrooms or in the office, that kind of thing. And so we also, the investment of funds, we're going to do that, which is approving our normal investments that's done by the treasurer, and the approval of school cashiers, the authorization for the chief financial officer and the Board of Education to have signed by an attorney, complaints as to the assessment of real property. And they come up as a regular item, so we need to be able to have that power. And we have to have a fidelity bond. So I'd like to take all those items together. Do we need a motion? Could I have a motion for items 4 through 11?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Okay, Mr. Gainer, would you call the roll?
Mr. Register.
Yes.
Mr. Zucker? Yes. Mr. Coble?
Yes.
Ms. Jones?
Yes.
Ms. Pepler?
Yes.
Okay. Well, thank you. I think that is all of our organizational items, and we're going to go into a regular board meeting now. And I think the audience probably has a copy of this agenda, right? I mean, copies were made available. So, we've already done the roll call, so we're good on that. The next item is approval of regular board meetings, minutes from November 5th. I'll accept a motion to approve those minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Any adjustment, changes, or any, okay. Would you call the roll, Mr. Gainer?
Mr. Coble?
Yes.
Ms. Jones?
Yes.
Ms. Pepler?
Yes.
Mr. Register?
Yes.
Mr. Zucker?
Yes.
Okay. You know, every now and then we decide that school board members should be recognized for the work that they do, that it's a real value in the community. So we're going to take a minute, since January is School Board Recognition Month, to recognize and show our appreciation for the members of the school board. So, Mr. Superintendent.
Thank you, Mr. President. The High School Boards Association is celebrating this month of January, the School Board Recognition Month, in order to build community awareness and understanding of the vital function an elected Board of Education plays in our society. Our 5 school board members are citizens whose decisions affect our children, what they learn, who will teach them, and what kinds of facilities house their classrooms. They establish policies that provide the framework for our public schools. They do all these tasks with the emphasis on what's best for the children whom they serve. They unselfishly contribute their time and talents toward the advancement of public education. They are dedicated to the continuing success of our schools and our students. We salute our board members, Karen Jones, Eric Coble, Nancy Pepler, Ron Register, and Cal Zucker for their dedication, and we applaud them for their vision and voice to help shape a better tomorrow for our students and our community. My sincere thanks to each of you.
Thank you. We appreciate it. Okay. The next item on the agenda is any public address requests, or anybody sign in to? Nobody? Okay, so we don't have anybody in the audience that wants to speak to us tonight?
I have a question.
Whoa.
It's a new
Okay,
year.
walk to that microphone, state your name, and ask your question, okay?
So everyone watching can hear you.
That's right.
5 minutes.
She'll never, ever ask
is
a
called-
question from the floor again.
I know, that's right.
Adele Cohn, I live in Cleveland Heights.
Great.
I assume that you are keeping the same dates for the board meeting? You said you set the dates, but you didn't say what they were.
Oh, okay,
And the audience that's watching on TV might want to know, too.
okay. We have been meeting on the first Tuesday of each month at 7 p.m. We would continue our regular Board of Education meetings on the first Tuesday, and if we make any change in that, we will appropriately notify the media and the public about that change. And we also meet on the second Tuesday, which is basically generally a work session. I mean, the third Tuesday, which is generally a work session. And so the exception to that is December, I believe, and then December, I think, is actually the second Tuesday of the month. So we're still on Tuesday, first and third Tuesday. We will be here. You be sure to be here, too. Okay?
The place to.
All righty. Okay, the next item is the superintendent's report, and I believe you have 3 or 4 items that you need us to approve tonight.
Yes. First item is the approval of 3 field trips, and please note that the 1 field trip was added today, and that is the Symphonic Winds
yeah.
Spring Tour field trip. It was actually completed in December, but because of the holidays, didn't get over to the board office until we started up this week. So in order to make our 60-day compliance, we wanted to be sure it was approved this evening. So those 3 field trips can be approved together by the board.
Okay. Could I get a motion to approve those 3 field trips?
So moved.
Second.
Any questions, discussions? Okay, Mr., huh?
They're good ones.
Okay, Mr. Gaynor, would you call the roll?
Ms. Jones?
Yes.
Ms. Pepler?
Yes.
Mr. Register?
Yes.
Mr. Zucker? Yes. Mr. Koble?
Yes.
The next item is a resolution to recognize the former long-term Cleveland Heights High School track and cross-country coach, Dick Mann, who passed away recently.
Right.
We have a resolution prepared, and I'm going to give it to the president to read for the public and our audience on television, and then the board can take action.
Okay. Okay, this resolution is in memoriam of Dick Mann, and it reads as follows. Whereas Dick Mann was a highly respected cross-country track and field coach at Cleveland Heights for 36 years, and whereas Coach Mann was known and loved and will be remembered as a coach who gave everything he had for the players fortunate enough to be the members of his team, and whereas Coach Mann took the boys track team to the state championship in 1982 and won, and led the boys track team to state runner-up honors in 1991, and whereas Coach Mann grew up in Cleveland Heights and was a 3-sport athlete at good old Heights High, he excelled in football and track at Western Reserve University. During the Korean War, he served in the U.S. Air Force and became a 2nd lieutenant in Alaska, serving in Alaska. Okay. And whereas Coach Mann was inducted into the Ohio Association of Track and Field and Cross-Country Coaches Hall of Fame, he also was a member of Cleveland Heights High School's Distinguished Alumni and Athletic Halls of Fame and the Case Western Reserve University Hall of Fame. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Cleveland Heights University Heights Board of Education, State of Ohio, that this board and administration does hereby honor Coach Dick Mann for his service and dedication to so many of our student athletes over his 36 years of coaching within this district, and be it further resolved that the Cleveland Heights University Heights Board of Education does hereby express its deepest condolences to the family, friends, and colleagues of Coach Mann. Signed and sealed in University Heights by Doug G. Hoyer, Superintendent of Schools, and Ron Register, newly elected Board President. I need a motion to accept this resolution.
So move.
Second?
Okay, any discussions, comments? Okay. Mr. Gaynor, would you call the roll?
Ms. Pepler?
Yes.
Mr. Register?
Yes.
Mr. Zucker?
Yes.
Mr. Koble?
Yes.
Ms. Jones?
Yes.
The final item under the superintendent's report is our regular monthly update on Race to the Top. Dr. Mishler is here tonight to give that update.
Good evening and Happy New Year. Often come up and speak, or someone else will come up and speak about the various projects that the district is undertaking as part of our Race to the Top scope of work. That includes adapting to the Common Core, pathways implementation, teacher evaluation, principal evaluation. But of the $400 million state award, the state of Ohio also has a responsibility with half of those funds to provide resources for kids to obtain these higher level of competencies for all districts. And on Friday, they made a major announcement. One of the tenets that they're responsible to have in place is a digital platform called an instructional improvement system that combines all the various databases where teachers at the desktop level can integrate curriculum, instruction, digital portfolios, all the assessment data, both formative day-to-day and the standardized testing, everything from online coursework through the nuts and bolts of a teaching day. You know, a couple of years ago, that was pie in the sky. Today, it's just getting it done right. So they awarded a contract on Friday, and it was a bid process, but we're partnering with Massachusetts. And that's important because Massachusetts has been known as the top educational state in the country, on par with almost any of these international comparisons. So our two states together are going down this path. And it will be very interesting to follow this. Those that have been involved in major computer technological migrations know that you have the website of what it says it's going to do, and then you have the process of getting it done. So the first adopters will go on board next year. It's voluntary. We'll be monitoring it. And then potentially within a year or so, making some serious decisions as to either how our systems can link to it or migrate to it. This is the first step, but it shows a couple very important things. It shows that the state is very serious about using the digital resources in a quality way. And it also shows, just like, you know, newspapers are going to 3 days a week around the country on print, that really the digital content is where the focus is. So you might have seen this a little bit of a brief in the newspapers, and there's going to be much more, and we'll be continuing updates as to how this unfolds.
I have a question. So when you said we'll be deciding, you meant the district will be
Yes.
deciding. So the decision has already been made to not join in year one.
Well, we made a decision when we, as part of our Race to the Top scope of work, that we were implementing Data Director, which is not as robust as this. We knew the state
Right.
was developing something, but we wanted something to use during our 4 years in Race to the Top as opposed to waiting for this pie in the sky. So one of the nice things about even our system is it's all cloud-based with a yearly contract. So everything we're learning to do and have learned to do it, because every year you get a little better at it, we'll be able to move over to the state system if we choose to use it. But we would not want to be one of the first adopters.
I think that's wise. So the contract was awarded to develop the system jointly with Ohio,
To
Massachusetts.
purchase
and
a system.
Oh, to purchase,
Yeah.
so it's been
Yeah, it's
completely
Charlotte,
developed.
Mecklenburg, and some of the larger urban
Okay.
districts have already used this, and the two states are now going to purchase this software.
And it'll be voluntary whether districts join.
Yeah,
first
with
year.
Race
Okay.
to the Top
Thanks.
districts being able to have first opportunity and at a much lower price for a couple of years.
Just to piggyback on that, and not to get too into detail, you may not know, but you mentioned that we were using the Data Director, and then we'd be able to port over to the other systems, should we decide to do so. Does Data Director allow you to output in some format, some standard format that allows?
It's
it
all
to be-
SIF2 compliant, whatever that means.
So they can talk to each
Yeah,
other? that's-
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, one of the things we made sure in any of the things, be it Infinite Campus, Data Director, that it meets national protocols for communication,
Sure.
moving from system to system.
Sure, no, that's-
Don't understand the details, but it was a prerequisite of
As
the
long as you know they
contract.
talk to each other, that's all you need
Yeah,
to
that's
understand,
it.
right?
And there's a
They need to play
performance
nice.
clause that it will do.
And they need to play nice, that's awesome. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks. Okay.
Now you can take it as a consent agenda.
Okay. The next item is E, and I'll accept the motion to accept E 1 through 5.
So moved.
Yes, I did say second.
All right.
That was overwhelmed by Mr.
Is there any conversation, any discussion on any of these items? Okay. Mr. Gaynor?
Mr. Register,
Yes.
Mr. Zucker,
Yes.
Mr. Koval,
Yes.
Ms. Jones,
Yes.
Ms. Bepler.
Yes.
Okay, that moves us to administrative services, and I think we got 3 items under this. We can do them all at once?
Really?
Okay, I will accept a motion for items F1 through 3.
So moved.
Second?
We moved in second. Any discussion?
Is there anything we should know about this, Mr. Chagall? Any details? Okay. It looks straightforward, but. Is this number, just out of curiosity, the number in payment in lieu of transportation, is this number of students holding steady, going up, down? Do we know roughly? It's going up.
Just a quick question, Steve. What's the kind of the process? Do the parents get notified after we work on this, or we already have notified them that this is what our recommendation is?
George, I'm going to turn to you for that.
Well, there I go.
Parents have to apply for it. We don't notify them of anything. It's not our obligation. If they are deserving of transportation and we don't offer it because it's impractical, then they can come and apply for it. We have traditionally parents that every year historically have applied and received payment in lieu of.
Okay.
And that's the list that you're getting.
And so we notify them at some point that we're not going to be able to provide the
Right.
transportation, and then the ball's in
If we
their
deem a
court.
school impractical, just like you just did in the last board meeting, those
Right.
parents are notified. Now, there's an option for them to come forward and ask for payment in lieu of.
Okay, got you. Okay, thank you. Thanks. Any other questions, comments? Okay, Mr. Gaynor?
Mr. Zucker?
Yes.
Mr. Coble?
Yes.
Ms. Jones?
Yes.
Ms. Pepler?
Yes.
Mr. Register?
Yes. Okay, that moves us to item G. I think it's finance approval of the tax budget for 2014. Mr. Gaynor?
This is our annual request of the county that they give us all the money that we are entitled to have. So it's prescribed by the county, the format that you see here. We actually had to wait for the county to give us some data to do it. It's,
This format's new, isn't it?
well, it's similar, it's been modified over the years, but,
Yeah.
it requires us to list out all the levies. We actually take the numbers from the county in terms of the revenue that they say we'll get on our Schedule A, and we have to feed it back to them on this schedule. And then we also then go in and layer in the appropriations so that we can demonstrate the need for the money by showing them that we intend to spend it. So that's really the purpose of this. They ask us to do it by fund, so that's why it's as lengthy as it is, a document. And, we also include in this the library debt, and if there are any other general obligations, we would include that too. So, again, this is really has no meaning to us operationally. It's just something that the county insists on having back to them so that we can demonstrate the need for the tax levies we're due.
The information is shown on a cash basis?
Yes.
Okay. Could we need a motion, don't we? I need a motion to approve the tax budget.
So moved.
Second.
Any other discussion? Okay, Mr. Gaynor?
Mr. Coble?
Yes.
Ms. Jones?
Yes.
Ms. Pepler?
Yes.
Mr. Register?
Yes.
Mr. Zucker?
Yes.
Okay, that gets us to the board president's report. And tonight, I'm basically want to make sure that we have our assignments to boards and committees that are appropriate and desired. Is there anybody who doesn't know what board or committee that they are presently assigned on? Or should I go down and read that list for anybody?
Oh, it's here at our spots.
Right, okay. Is there anybody who wishes to change a committee? And I want to make one comment as we do this. We've got, we had put in place a lay facilities committee. I think it would be good for us to officially have this committee on, as part of our committee assignments. Is it on here?
No, but you.
Okay, so there are some items that we need to change that are on this committee. I think the treasurer pro tem would change, and Eric's name would go on the list. So is there anything else that anybody is interested
In changing?
in changing? And the Lake Facilities Committee right now is not on the list, but Karen Jones and Cal Zucker are our
Yeah, it was
members
the other way around.
there.
Well, I was basically on it because of the presidency, so
Whoa, whoa,
you
whoa,
could take it
whoa,
over.
Time out. Time out.
Okay,
Time
that
out.
was the rationale.
I'm not sure that that's true, but okay.
Oh, yes, it was.
Was it?
Yes,
Okay, so-
that was your comment, that the president should be on the Lay Facilities Committee, so that would mean that would now go to you.
No, that's not exactly what it would mean.
Based on what
but-
the
wait a minute.
determination.
Do you desire to continue serving on that committee? I think
No,
that's the
I'm gonna turn
question.
it over to the president.
Well, okay, thank you. Ms. Jones would like not to continue serving on the Lay Facilities Committee. Is there anyone sitting up here that would desire to participate in that committee and represent the board on that committee?
I don't want to get in the middle of your argument.
Which argument?
I'm
What
just kidding.
argument?
But I've been trying to go to all of the meetings and would be happy to be appointed as a liaison also to the committee, if you want two people as a liaison.
Well, I think we should have two. I think
Okay.
it's healthy. Any other conversation on this matter?
I'm happy to keep, I've been attending all the meetings I can, but I think that it'd be better for them to be the liaisons at this point.
Tim?
And I assume that Cal is still a liaison to that committee.
Cal?
I'm happy any way we do this. You know, if you want to make sure the president's on here, it's absolutely, I'm happy to be there. I'll be there either way. So if
Okay,
whether I'm the official
well-
liaison or not.
Given that I've had input from the entire board, I am prepared to appoint Nancy Pepler and Cal Zucker to the Lay Facilities Committee. Okay, so we'll make that change. Okay, go ahead.
We just, Cal and I were just noticing, I think the Reaching Heights Education Foundation, I believe, needs to be switched around. That I assume,
What is
are
it?
you going to continue that? That Cal would be the regular person and I'm the alternate?
I
That's how it's
think
been the
that-
last
I think
year.
in 2012, I was actually the regular and Eric was the alternate, because I think Eric was the regular the year before, weren't you?
Yeah.
I mean,
Or
Okay,
2
so
years
you guys
before,
just want to
but anyway,
switch?
Well, I mean, we're not
places?
switching. I think we're just correcting it.
It's just,
Oh,
yeah, it's a
okay,
correction.
okay, that's fine.
Yeah,
That's
there was
fine.
something, Karen
That's
was
fine.
listed as treasurer pro tem this year. and
Right.
that
Well, but
wasn't
this
the
is
case.
2012, appointment 2000,
Right,
on our
this-
thing.
This was last
This
year's,
is
but it
last
was
year.
wrong.
But she wasn't pro tem.
Oh, she was.
No, she wasn't.
Right, no,
wasn't
Nancy
treasurer.
was.
Treasurer
Right,
pro
I'm sorry.
tem.
Right.
My
Right.
mistake, my mistake.
So-
You're right.
Okay, so we're just
what
getting
happened was-
ourselves
Yeah.
updated to
Yeah.
2013.
Sorry about that. You're right.
And correcting. Okay, so
Hey,
this
Rep, are you
goes to,
okay with
Yeah, I'm fine. I
Rita,
just didn't remember. I can't
so
remember. Just
you'll
the
take
two
care of
reps.
it?
Yep.
Okay.
No, well, right. I
Any
haven't
other,
attended those
any
meetings,
other
so-
thing, are we missing anything out there that we ought to be?
I mean, just to sort of make things clear, I mean, PTA rep, I'm listed, Eric's listed, there really isn't any position of that at this moment. Now, if the PTA changes and decides to have that again, that's fine.
Is this a council, PTA council? What is this?
Well, it has been historically, but in this past year, there has been, we've never been invited to meetings, and I've never even known when they were. So again, it's just there was a difference in structure. So I'm happy to contact the PTA presidents and find out if they'd like to have that rep available again, so that, to make sure.
Yeah, and I can see how that might be dropped through the cracks if,
Sure,
Yeah,
sure. I mean, you know, I was past president, so I had vested interest in this, of the
right,
PTA.
right,
so
right,
the,
right.
so-
Okay, would you check into that?
I'd be glad to.
And we've got co-presidents, don't we,
Of the PTA?
of the
Yes,
council? Is
right
it
now, right.
Sabrina Humphries and, no,
Yeah, Valerie Moreland, that's right, I couldn't remember Valerie's name, right.
Couture.
okay. So you know, though, you'll.
I'll make contact.
Okay,
It's up.
okay. Any other observations? Okay. Yes.
The board that you and I have attended the one time in the morning for the CTE, is that?
Well, we probably should include that on this list, but let's not do that tonight.
Okay.
Let's just,
Fair enough.
let's have a conversation with the superintendent about where that's headed before we,
Okay.
because there's a real conversation, I think,
That's fine.
about that.
That's fine.
So he's talking about the Business Advisory Committee for
Yes.
CT, for career technical education. That's actually, for the sake of the audience, there's actually, this is probably the only lay committee that's actually referenced by statute. So we'll actually get on top of that and make sure that we're doing what we should be doing with that. But I'm not prepared to have that elongated conversation tonight. And I think Nancy and I was thinking that we should have a meeting set up with the superintendent to discuss what our goals, plans for next year, for this year are. There's a lot of things we really do have to get done, and we're hopeful that we can develop the team that's going to lead us through this year successfully. So we'll be getting with the superintendent and setting it up in the near future. Okay, so we're all set on committees with that one item that we have to deal with. Is there any unfinished business? Is there any new business that we need to tackle tonight? Do we have any committee reports? You guys
Year is
must have
still
taken a
young.
Christmas
Yeah,
vacation or something. What'd you say, Eric?
The year is still young.
Yeah, I know that's right. Any correspondences or announcements?
You may want to mention this evening that our instrumental music program will be hosting a major presentation on Thursday evening, starting at 7 o'clock in the Cleveland Heights High School auditorium. And that will cover multiple levels, elementary through high school.
And that's this Thursday evening
It's this Thursday evening at 7 o'clock
at the high school.
at the high school.
Okay. It's on our
Be there?
website?
Yes.
Okay, great. All right, sounds good.
Thank you for reminding.
The only other thing that I have as an announcement is that we, as a board, have purchased a table to hear Linda Darling Hammond at the City Club on the 25th. She's one of the most noteworthy present-day education reform people. And she's going to be speaking at the City Club, and the board has invited others to attend. And we haven't gotten all the responses in, but we definitely plan on being there. And again, she's one of the prolific authors around education and education reform issues. And we're looking forward to that. And we're looking forward to hosting some key other community people with us. And we have had some people to say that they would be able to come. So we have a table of 10, and it'll be some members of the board and some other key community folk with us. So I think that's noteworthy. And also, if people are interested in hearing her, of course, you can go online and Google her and find out. But there are, I was told as of today, some tickets still available. There are single tickets, and it would be general seating. But we do have a table.
And they broadcast it live, and then they broadcast it the next day, Saturday as well.
Right.
From the City Club.
Right. We might, I had.
And on
Right.
PBS.
I had mentioned to our Director of Communications and Community Engagement that might be something that's noteworthy that we might put a blurb up on. So we're on top of it, I think. Anything else in terms of announcements?
Facilities meetings tomorrow night, 7:30 at Boulevard.
Right. And there was a question that I had on my calendar. We talked about meeting on the 24th as well, and I think that has gone to the 29th now or something like that. I don't think we noticed that meeting yet, have we?
No, just the one tomorrow night, but not the one at the end of the month, because it's not.
Yeah,
there's
I
no-
know that, I talked to Patrick Mullen, and he was attempting to set up another meeting. I don't know what the exact date of that's going to be, whether it's the 29th, 30th.
Okay, but what we ought to have in our head is that there would possibly be 2 meetings of the Lay Facilities Committee this month.
That's correct.
Okay. And then we'll get the date out as soon as we can nail that down.
We'll send a separate notice on that one.
Yeah, I think they'll finalize that tomorrow night.
Okay, great, great.
And might also mention that our work session this month
Right.
is discussion of negotiations, so per statute, it'll be conducted in executive session.
Right. I think we'll have a very brief business meeting, and then we'll go immediately into executive session to talk about our approach to negotiations for this year. And that's going to be challenging, I think. Okay, so that's happening on the 22nd. I guess if you try to get your calendar in sync, January doesn't quite fit what we just did. Because of the first was the first Monday. I mean the first Tuesday, it threw everything slightly back a week. So the 22nd rather than the 15th. Okay. Anything else? Okay, I'll accept a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second?
Mr. Gaynor?
Ms. Jones?
Yes.
Ms. Pepler?
Yes.
Mr. Register?
Yes.
Mr. Zucker? Yes. Mr. Koval?
Yes.